comes the Does Show.
Truth or consequences?
Let her go.
D-U-Z.
Hello there, we've been waiting for you. It's time to play Truth or Consequences. Yes, Truth or Consequences, the game that does everything on the air. Brought to you by Does, the soap that does everything in your wash. And here he is, winner of the Eisenhower Award for bond sales and the Meringue Pie Award for lemon sales, your truth or lots of nonsenses man, Ralph Edwards. Thank you very much, Bob Williams. Greetings, party players from beautiful San Francisco, California, where Truth or Consequences is broadcasting two big E-Bond shows tonight in the San Francisco Civic Auditorium. And our Truth or Consequences total in this seventh war loan is now over $13 million, thanks to San Francisco and a whole bunch of other cities. Monday night, Stockton, California. Tuesday, Oakland. Next week in Los Angeles. Buy an E and see T or C. By the way, the seventh war loan drive ends soon. Have you done your part to make it a success by buying that extra bond? Why don't you do it, gang? Hello, what is your name, please?
Marion J. Crabtree.
How do you do?
How do you do?
That's a sweet name, Crabtree.
It's sweet apples.
What's that?
Crab apples.
Crab apples. That's what they call
Sort
it?
of bitter.
What's that?
Sort of bitter.
Well, it gets better as it gets bitter, though,
Yes,
doesn't
it
it?
gets better.
Where are you from, Miss Crabtree?
Well, I'm from two places. I'm from Lincoln and I'm from temporarily in Vallejo.
But that's just temporarily.
Yes, but I've been there 4 years.
Well, here we go. You've been there 4 years.
Yes, off and on.
You are, in a way, a transient, aren't you, in this thing?
No, sir, I don't claim into that name at all.
No, I mean, transient. I mean, you go from one
No,
street.
sir.
Huh?
I stay in Lincoln and then I stay in Vallejo, back and forth.
Off and on.
Off and on.
Off and on, yes.
On and off.
What's that?
On and off.
Now you're changing it.
Have to make it interesting.
Miss Crabtree, what brings you to San Francisco? A bus?
Just this.
Just Truth or Consequences?
Yes.
For E-Bonds, Mrs. Crab. We bow to you.
It's my birthday present from my husband.
Well, isn't that sweet? When's your birthday?
It's already the 13th of June on a Friday.
That was mine, Mrs. Crabtree! Happy
That's not
birthday
fair.
to
He didn't
you.
give me that kiss. He just fooled me.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll have to put my teeth in and go to work now.
See this man, and here I am seeing him, and then he pretends to kiss me instead of really doing it. It isn't fair.
Well, everybody move over.
Thank you.
It's all right.
I'll put that
Now-
in my hopeless box and keep it forever.
What's that?
I'll put that in my hopeless box and keep it forever.
Hopeless.
My God knows when box.
Yeah. Well, Mrs. Crabtree, let's get on, shall we, Mrs. Crabtree?
Very well.
What is your occupation?
Well, I'm a housewife, and I work at the YMCA and the USO.
And you use Does.
I do use Does.
Thank you for saying that. Don't say any more. That's good. That's good. Now, Mrs. Crabtree, we have a question for you. We'll have a little consequence, okay?
Very well.
Isn't it wonderful the number of E-bonds been bought here tonight in San Francisco
Wonderful.
for Truth or Consequences?
I hope you'd sell that many more a million times over.
Thank you. Now, Shirley Gale of Ontario, Canada, sent this question in. Give the names. Is the rest of the family over in Vallejo?
Well, just my husband.
Mm-hmm.
We have an adopted son out on the ocean.
I see. And the husband's home taking care of the maid.
He's an electrician at Mare Island.
Is he? Oh, that's fine. I know a lot of the fellows over there. Here's the question. Give the names of at least 5 married couples in the comic strips. Truth or Consequences, Mrs. Marion Crabtree. Now, while you're thinking of that, would you bring up an Air Force man to the microphone? Some fella from out of there. I've interviewed a fella beforehand. Any of those guys. Here comes an Air Force man. What is the name of that? Give the names of at least 5 married couples in the comic strip.
Well, is Amos and Andy?
In the comic strip. No, they're on the radio. The names, Maggie and Jiggs, Dagwood and Blondie, Bumstead, Emmy and Lord Plushbottom, Lucifer and Pansy Yoakum, Samuel and Susie Perkins, Min and Andy Gum. You haven't told the truth, Mrs. Crabtree, so you must pay the consequences.
Very well.
Born Friday the 13th.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that funny?
On
I
a
was too.
train.
On a train?
A slow train, too.
What?
A slow train.
Yeah.
Had it been going faster, I wouldn't have been born on a train.
I didn't get that. What?
A slow train.
Yes, I got that.
And had it been going faster, I wouldn't have been born on a train because my mother would have got there in time.
Well, one thing sure, it wasn't a mail train, was it? Now, your name... let's have the Air Force man up here. What is your name, please?
PFC Sam Phillips.
Hello, Sam Phillips, PFC. Where are you from?
Slayton, Texas.
Meet Mrs. Crabtree from Vallejo. Now, here's a little consequence. You're going to help in this. You're just to sort of give us advice, Air Force man Phillips. Now, Mrs. Crabtree, you've heard those airplanes roar by overhead, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, do you think you could imitate them?
Perhaps.
Well, let's find out, shall we?
All right.
All right. Now, Mrs. Crabtree, you sit here on this stool here, if you will, please, and just hang on to this broom handle. No, you face out toward the microphone. That's it. Now, hang on to this broom handle. What have you got in the package? Shall we put that?
Oh, a dish. Don't you dare break it.
No, we shan't. No. Been out shopping today, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Butter dish?
No, it's an old-time dish.
Oh, how nice. All right.
10 cents for it.
10 cents.
Couldn't buy it for $5. I go and find them at those second-hand stores.
Yes. Who finds you, though, after you've got in there?
Oh, I find myself.
All right, Miss Crabtree. You sit there with a broom handle, holding on the broom handle and sitting on the stool. That's the stuff. Now, you're going to imitate a real plane. You're a fighter plane called Tipsy Betsy. Up you go there. Careful. Look out. You'll be topsy-turvy instead of Tipsy Betsy. That's it. Now, just hold still. All right. Now, you come over here. PFC, Sam Phillips. Now, here, this fella here is by now an expert on the sounds of airplanes. You see the sounds they make in various phases of maneuvering. Isn't that right, Sam?
Right.
Yes, sir. If you're in the Air Force, you are. Now, we want you, Sam Phillips, PFC, to put Mrs. Crabtree through an entire airplane flight. And Mrs. Crabtree, you must imitate the sounds of the airplane as PFC Phillips calls them. Whether it's a power dive or firing bullets in an enemy plane, you supply the sounds. Will you?
All right, I'll try.
Yeah, you give out on this. Okay, now, Sam, here you go. Here's a list of suggestions for you in case you run out. All right, what's going to happen first?
Okay, ready, Miss Crabtree?
I am.
All right. Spin the prop.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Spin the prop. Come on. Get it started. All right, rev it up.
That's it. Rev it up.
Okay?
Rev it up?
Yeah.
Okay, now the takeoff. Give her the gun. Come on. Little more.
This is a dog fight or an airplane? I can't... All right. Be there.
All right. Okay, we're in the air now. A steep climb. You know. Steep. Come on. Steep.
Sounds she's like in a Ferris wheel or something. All right, go ahead.
Okay, level off.
Level off.
Okay, now we're cruising.
Yeah.
The motor sputters and coughs.
Sputters and coughs. Oh, brother.
All right.
I'm glad I'm not riding with her, that's all. Dip your right aileron a little there, Mrs. All right, here we go.
Okay, an enemy plane is sighted. Dive. Power dive. Come on, dive. All right, now pull out.
Pull out.
Pull out.
Why didn't you tell me you wanted me to move this broom?
Whoa. No wonder she isn't flying. She isn't moving the broom. Now, toward the end here.
All right, dive again now. Dive. Now you've got him. Give him both barrels. Now. Okay, good. You got him.
Good girl, you got him. That's the stuff. Thank you very much. Boy. Say, that's nice shooting there. Nice shooting there, Miss Crabtree. How'd she do, Sam?
Oh, boy, she got him from stem to stern.
She did.
Oh, he cracked up 4 times.
Funny. I wanted you to ask me what I was doing when I was going slow. I was going to say, and then I was going to say, that's the windshield wiper.
Oh, boy, you better go back to Vallejo for just a moment, Mr. You did terrific as you did. I wish we could have had all that. That was the windshield wiper.
Yes, sir.
On an airplane. Yes. Fine. Well, you did swell, Miss Crabtree. Here's $5 a piece for both of you folks, a chance at the grand prize, and a big red box it does. Miss Crabtree takes good care of your hands in the dishpan. And here's an extra $10 to the PFC, the Air Force man, for wear and tear on his plane. Thanks a whole lot. Folks, bye. Thanks for playing through the consequences. All right, now let's have the microphone here. A couple of gentlemen, come in close, will you, please? And tell us your names. This will be, what is your name, please?
Lee Cousins.
Hello, Mr. Lee Cousins. And your name, sir?
Alfred Breslauer.
How do you do, Mr. Breslauer? Nice to have both you gentlemen at the microphone. Where are you from, Mr. Breslauer?
San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Right here. What is your occupation?
An attorney.
You're a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Come right in here, Mr. Cousins, and tell us about yourself there. Where are you from?
I'm from California, Hanford.
Uh-huh.
I'm a buyer.
Good. All right, now, gentlemen, here's a question missing. We'll have a little consequence. It comes from Rachel Lee of Minneapolis, Minnesota. What do you call an eight-sided figure? There's three parts to this question. What do you call an eight-sided figure? Truth or consequences? Mr. Cousins and Mr. Breslauer.
Octagon.
Octagon is right. What do you call a nine-sided figure? You have to do this in 20 seconds, fellas. You in there, Mr. Cousins?
Nineagon or something?
Nineagon? No. You were awfully close. Not nineagon, nonagon. All right, I haven't told the truth, so you must pay the consequences. Would you have known what a 10-sided figure is, gentlemen? Well, that's a decagon. All right, fellas, you haven't told the truth, so you must pay the consequences. Now, Mr. Alfred Breslauer from San Francisco, the lawyer, and Mr. Lee Cousins, the buyer, we want you to run off into one of our little rooms backstage, and we'll give you 1 minute in which to talk to each other and dig up each other's past. Now, the one who can come back and tell the most facts about the other fella merely from his appearance and quick questioning, the one who digs up the most facts about the other will receive an extra prize. All right, off you go there. We'll call you back in a minute. Off they go. Just get in there and talk to each other about it. Interrogate each other. The lawyer, he's probably get him in there, and he says, now, look here, tell me all about this. All right, are they out of earshot? They can't hear? They gone? Ooh, what's going to happen to them? Now, listen, Mr. Breslauer doesn't know it, but the man who just went out with him and who we call Mr. Cousins, is really Mr. Breslauer's cousin, Leon Breslauer. Now, the reason Mr. Breslauer doesn't know it's his cousin is because they haven't seen each other since they were in their teens. Last time was in 1913. And we've arranged this meeting between them with the help of Alfred Breslauer's sister, Louise Breslauer. She's seated out in the audience. I want to tell you it took a lot of premeditated work to keep this a secret from Mr. Breslauer. Didn't it, Miss Breslauer?
Yes, it did.
How are you?
Fine.
My. Does your brother have any inkling that the man with him is his cousin?
No, not at all.
Not at all? Oh, this is going to be good. All right. You really kept it a secret.
I certainly have, and I've lost sleep over it.
All right. All right. Now, you see, folks, we interviewed a great many women who received tickets for this broadcast, Truth or Consequences, in San Francisco tonight, to find one who knew of some man, some relative, who had a long-lost cousin that he hadn't seen since childhood. And we then, having found the person, we then contacted the cousin, Leon, in Salinas, California. He's from Salinas. That's Mr. Cousins, we're calling him, you see, and rushed him up here to San Francisco at our expense for this broadcast. And when Mr. Breslauer, Alfred, the lawyer, and his cousin, Leon, the buyer, whom we're calling Mr. Cousins, come back on stage, the cousin Leon will tell all he knows about Mr. Alfred Breslauer. Now, let's hear how long it takes Mr. Alfred Breslauer, the lawyer, to catch on that someone is pulling his leg and that someone is his long-lost cousin Leon. All right, now bring back Mr. Alfred Breslauer, the lawyer, and the pseudo Mr. Cousins, who is really cousin Leon Breslauer. Now, don't anyone give the gag away. All right, Murray, tell him to come back. Now, don't give the gag away. Aren't we devils? Okay, now let's see. Let's get on with Truth or Consequences and find out if the two men, Mr. Cousins and Mr. Breslauer, have found out all there was to know about each other. We're going to count the points as they talk, you see. Each one. Mr. Cousins, you all ready there, sir? What's that?
I don't know.
How about you, Mr. Breslauer? In the back there. What'd you say?
Already.
All right, now I'm going to count the points here, and we'll find out who has the most at the end, you see, and the one that does, why, we'll get an extra prize. All right, now, let's see. Let's hear what you have to say, Mr. Breslauer, first about Mr. Cousins here. You're the lawyer, are you?
That's correct.
Oh, you probably got him in there and we're just pounding him, huh, and telling him.
Right. I tried to, anyway.
All right, now let's go. I'll check the points. What about this fellow?
Well, he was born in Hanford. He went to school in Hanford, went to high school in Hanford. He's been married for 20 years.
4.
He was overseas. He was with, in the last war. He's a buyer of cattle.
7.
He's never heard of the OPA.
8.
He sells the cattle every place that he can.
9. I've checked these off if they're wrong, you see.
Yeah.
All right, now, were most of those right or wrong?
Well, most of them were wrong.
They were, huh? All right. Well, you've done pretty good. Now, your time is... any more? What about his appearance? What would you judge from his appearance here, Mr. Breslauer?
Oh, I judge he's about 45.
Mm-hmm. Is that about right, sir?
Little wrong.
Little wrong there. Okay, you got anything more to say about him?
That's all I found out in there.
All right, well, you did pretty good. You have about, well, some of those, how many would say, of the 10, how many points would you say were wrong of that group?
Well, I'd say,